Hey there, and welcome to Doing Things Dan's Way. So today I have my wife's Ford C-Max here, and I'm going to upgrade the front turn signals. Now, as you can see over here, we have a really slow blinking light. You can see how slowly it turns on and off and how lazy that is. And over here on this side, you can see how quickly this one turns on and off just instantaneously like a typical LED. It's a lot brighter. People will be able to see a lot better. So what I picked up from Oxido is a couple of these. These are turn signal lights that have a built-in resistor and a built-in fan. Now what happens is the first ones I installed were these guys, which would work fine, but this car is smart enough to detect the amount of current that the bulb is taking, and without adding additional resistors in there to take up the power that a normal incandescent bulb would take up, the car goes in hyperflash mode. So I had to install these big old things on top of the bulbs basically to get the car to not hyperflash. Well, Oxido has a bulb that takes care of that with this bulb right here. You see this bulb right here has a little fan built into it and the resistor built inside. Now it needs the fan because it takes a lot of power to trick the car into thinking that there's a normal incandescent bulb in there. So this one takes care of that. And yes, it is a moving part and it's a fan, but if you look, the light assembly itself is sealed. So there's really not a whole lot of reason for dust and dirt to build up on this. And also it's only on when the light is on. So you can see it spin up and spin down with each blink of the turn signal or the hazard light. So quite honestly, there's not a whole lot it needs to do. It just needs to have a little bit of airflow. And I've let it run for quite a while and it doesn't warm up the bulb assembly or anything. So it's not like it's that much power, but it takes care of the problem without having to go through and do a bunch of extra wire. And then this thing's heavy, so you have to mechanically mount it really well too. So all that just made for a really klutzy experience when I installed it the first time. So I'm gonna go back in, replace them with the the style here that has the fan built in. Now while I'm in there, I'm also gonna replace the little marker light. There's just a little teeny side light that's on there. And I mean, while I'm in there, why not? Because it's all opened up anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna do that. Now, basic plan for this is you have to be able to actually take one of the fender bolts off, actually kind of move the fender out of the way just to get to the back of this. So it's a little bit of work to get in there. So there's a few extra steps than maybe just a normal bulb where you just kind of reach in there and get it done. So to learn about all of that, don't go away. This is Doing Things Dan's Way. So use code Dan's Way to get 15% off at oxido.com. And again, links down below for that. So the big challenge here is that the turn signal bulb is all the way back here. So to get to this, we have to pull off these two fender bolts and pull off the bolts on the headlight itself and actually get the headlight out of here a bit before we can get to those connections. Okay, so we're going to take out these two 10mm bolts and then just use a flat blade screwdriver to remove this screw. Okay, then the other screw is this tab down here. There's two kind of identical looking ones. We're going to do the one that's closest to the light. Here, the fender and the light kind of lock together. So you kind of have to lift up and wiggle this about a bit to try and get the two to release from each other. Okay. Guess I'm just kind of wiggling it around. See and feel where it's sticking. Okay, so now I'm going to pull my right arm out this way. And there's obviously going to be a big wiring cable down here that holds it all together. Okay, so I'm going to take this connection off, which will let me remove the whole fixture. You don't have to remove this, but it will make it a whole lot easier to show you how to do the next steps if I do. So I'm going to pull the tab on the bottom of this connector. If I pull that off, as you can see, now I have the whole thing in my hand. I get access to every single thing. In fact, it'd be an opportunity to repolish it if you're going to polish it. So obviously from back here now, we have access to everything. We've got daylight running lights, and again, these caps just pull right off. So the DRL is here. We have the main headlight as well. And as you can see, perhaps, I've already replaced these with LEDs, and I'll put links in the description down below, the ones I've used. I've also done videos, so I'll have links down there on how to basically do the same thing. But now that we're here, you can see how to do it. So we have DRL, we have the daylight, we have the main headlight, and we have the turn signal. And then ultimately, there's also that little marker light, which is up inside there as well. So here's the turn signal, and here's the marker light. So that's what I replace right now are these two. So I'll go ahead and remove this connector first, this connection. Then I can push down and turn the bulb holder. Give that a wiggle. Lots of wiggles. Come on. There we go. Try and keep it in the same alignment just so you remember how it goes back together again. So I'm noticing there's a tab here. There's not one there, so the tab is to the right. And there is our bulb. General rule is you don't want to ever touch an incandescent bulb glass. If you reuse it, you have to wipe it off really clean from the oils, because the oils will burn on the glass. Well, let's grab the LED and stick it in here. Okay, so taking a look, you can see things are basically identical. So I'm just going to pull the bulb out. That's going to go in the bin. And then this guy here, again, I'm not going to touch the LED elements for the same reasons. Okay, at this point, this bulb is not polarized, so the bulb can go in either direction. So we're going to stick it in there. It's going to snap in. And then we can go and put on the connector just temporarily, and we'll go ahead and test it out. Okay, let me go turn on the head strips. Each time it flashes, you'll see the fan spin up and spin down. And that's how it works. Okay, let me test the white light. And there's our white light. And drop the bulb in with that little tab sticking to the right here. So looking down inside, this just turns that far. And that's locked. So this one here, you just pull it straight out. It just has a tab on it. It's not threaded or anything. So you need to use a tool and just pull straight up on it and wiggle it as you do it, and you get the bulb out. So then grab the replacement. Okay, let me test that. Okay. So this bulb was polarized. I had to flip it around for it to start working. So no big deal there. Okay, let's reassemble things. Okay, so we'll stuff this one back in. Okay, there's all the way in, and then we're going to connect this one. Okay, that's good to go. Set the cap on. Okay, and just to show you real quick, this is the main headlight, and it's as simple as a quarter turn, pulling the bulb out, and swapping it out. And back, closing it up. That's as hard as it is to replace that one. And similarly, this one's the high beam DRL. So as you can see, they're all like right here, 1, 2, 3. Easy to get to, easy to service. Just a little bit of a pain in the butt to get this whole thing taken apart. So anyway, let's get it back together. And don't forget to reconnect it. This is the hardest part of this project, which is to get this fender over the top of here. And you can see how this is kind of scratched up from my taking it in and out a couple times. So I just kind of lean back and bend on this to get it over the top of here. But we want to be underneath. This piece needs to be over the top of this metal, and there's a tab that goes down in that square hole. So once these come together, you're going to push that tab down in that hole. There you go. And then put the screw back in, and the screw over there. That's it. Well, there you have it. Those are the results. You can see how bright this is. In fact, it's even brighter than the other LED that's on this side. And that's the difference between this style of bulb from Oxido and the one with the fan on it with the multicolor. So pretty cool, pretty sweet. I like how bright it is. So as always, I have links down below to all the bulbs you saw being replaced on this car. In fact, I'm about to film doing the rear brake lights and the rear turn signals and backup lights as well. So there's lots of LEDs to replace on this, what's supposed to be an electric car full of incandescent bulbs. Like I say, links down below. Use my code DANSWAY. Hit these videos here to other videos in the series working on this car, especially on the LEDs of it. And until next time, guys, be blessed.